dismiss that. So here's the deal. Dream boards are this wonderful thing, and if we get hooked up on how to make that happen, then we create resistance. So our guest speaker today is going to talk to us about releasing. So yes, have goals, have an intent, have that clarity, but it's also really important to let it go and let it manifest itself in the way that's right for you. Because like Patience said, sometimes Spirit, God, higher power, whatever that is for you, has a better plan for you than you could even imagine. And it's time to let the dream you into being. So with that, I'd like to introduce our guest speaker for today. So she's spoken to us before and is just absolutely a delight. Please give a big Divine Fellowship welcome to Andrea Hopkins.
Good morning. Hello. To start out with, I'll be doing a chant. This chant says, awake. Awaken. And a very good friend of mine has made an art of this chant for me, so I'm very pleased. Thank you, Gordon. And prior to that, I'd like for us to engage our child self. One way we do that is to do something physical, and it's a clearing and a blessing. So I have some salt, and Dan is back here, and he will pass the salt in a little tray up and down the aisles, and Bear, if you would, on this side. And you take a pinch and you put it under your tongue, and the intention is to clear your aura, clear your space, engage your child self to say, hey, we're going to do some clearing and releasing today. We would like your cooperation and your agreement. So while that's happening, this chant says, wake up. Wake up sky, wake up mountains, wake up earth, wake up sea. Everyone awaken, because love has arrived. So we want to awaken to the love that's us, that's in our heart, that is our God self. And that's the purpose of today. Eala e kahiki ku, eala e kahiki moi, eala ho'ia ua hiki mai oi, ua ala kahu, ua ala kalani, ua ala kahunua, ua ala kauka, ua ala kekai. Akahi ka ke o ke aloha, ahiki mai au. Akahi ka ke o ke aloha, ahiki mai au. Akahi ka ke o ke aloha, ahiki mai au. Love, the foremost thing, has arrived. So, what are we doing today? We're going to release the past to attract the future. So, when we talk about Huna, we talk about three selves. We're not just one self. How many times have we made resolutions and they kind of fall by the wayside like so much flotsam and jetsam along the year, right? And I wonder why that could be. One theory is we didn't engage our child self. We didn't get agreement from our child self. The child self holds the emotions, the habits, past thoughts, past memories especially. So the point of this today is the key to happiness and love is fulfillment of our first purpose. Our first purpose is to become integrated, body, mind, spirit. Integration is dependent on accepting the unconscious self or child self who is connected to the high self and becoming one with the high self so that we're all integrated with the high self. Integration of the three selves leads to self-realization, which is our purpose in this life. Hawaiian teachings assist us in understanding our triune nature. It's very important to understand that we're three beings in one. And point the way to the child self. The child self, our subconscious mind, is exceedingly important. And researchers in psychology believe that perhaps it's the child self that's making all the decisions for us. It's something to consider. So today what we're wanting to do is integrate the three selves, work with the child self to release the past. because we're creating our future, our present actually, we're creating our present out of the memories of the past to a great extent. So today we'll ask the assistance and cooperation of the child self in releasing negative memories and beliefs so they will discontinue manifesting. The focus today is on releasing the past through spiritual clearing. This includes repentance, forgiveness, and gratitude, which allows us to love unconditionally. When we are in the love state, we are self-realized. That is, we are one with the high self, as love and the high self are one. So again, the point of this talk, this exercise today, is to release. The future will be the past unless the past is released. I'll say that again. The future, our future will be the past unless the past is released. Most of past impressions reside within the subconscious mind or the child's self and repeat in an endless cycle unless released and transmuted by the divine. Release of the past starts with repentance, which is more or less, oh yeah, I see you, I see what this is. I see this guilt, I see this shame, I see this mistake. And then forgiveness. Oh, I forgive myself and I forgive the other. Forgiveness is a method of achieving pono. Pono is righteousness, or to be right. Righteousness, not I'm right and you're wrong. To be correct. So forgiveness is a method of achieving pono, fairness and balance of energies between others. And sometimes it is necessary to make amends to achieve this pono state. Release can also occur through spiritual cleansing technique, and we'll be doing that today as I get a little further into this. So what is Huna? Huna, it's a name that's been called the secret science. It has been practiced by kahunas in Hawaii for centuries. It's a practice, it's not a religion. It's known as the secret science, and it's based on the concept of do no harm, because the sin in Huna is to harm another. So if you eat meat on Friday, you're probably fine. But if you hurt someone, there's something to be done there to make amends and to become Hono again. So the 7 principles of Huna, I'll go over them briefly. The world is what you think it is. The world is what I think it is. There are no limits. Energy flows where attention goes. Now, the present, is the moment of power. To love is to be in joy. All power comes from within. And effectiveness is the measure of truth. The 3 selves are the subconscious, the conscious, and the supraconscious minds. The subconscious mind is the child self. In Hawaii, it's also called unihipili. The conscious mind is the middle self, also called lono or uhani. And the supraconscious mind is the high self, or the amakua. And then there's divinity above. From the book, The Huna Warrior, which I don't have up here, I'll quote what the book is saying about Huna. Huna is a system that sees 3 distinct selves in human body: low self, middle self, and high self. The low self is also referred to as the child self or subconscious mind. The middle self is the adult self or the conscious mind. They work together and reside in the body. The high self or supraconscious mind is energetic and hovers above the body, connected to the etheric or the aura of the body. To manifest desires, the low self with energy carries the desired thoughts from the conscious mind. The conscious mind desires something, presents that picture to the child self. The child self with energy takes that template or that picture to the high self. The high self uses that picture as a template and energizes it. That energy then attracts matter, and then that which has been visioned is manifested. Okay? The low self talks to the high self when it feels worthy. See, that's the catch. Is the child self going to take the picture to the high self? Well, it depends. If the low self feels shame due to negative fixed beliefs or harming another, it will not approach the high self with a prayer because it doesn't feel worthy and it feels undeserving. Therefore, the low or child self needs to be cleared of negative impressions and memories. These memories are, as I said before, carried in the subconscious mind. There is a book written by Audre, the Seed, and in it, the seer is the person who speaks for the divine. And so the seer says, "For the lower mind is childlike. All emotions arise from it. All blockages must be removed, for encumbered, the subconscious cannot do its work of carrying the message to God. The gift of mana and prayer must rise on an invisible being to the higher power where it will materialize. Go to this higher awareness for help and let it guide your life, for it is man's share of the power called God." So our mission is to become awakened and to integrate our three selves and become love, which is our God self. The ideal state is when the high, middle, and low selves are integrated and working together, sharing divine energy. This leads us to what is known as the Christ mind, or Christ consciousness. The low self or child self carries hurts, guilt, and complex fixed beliefs that it inhibit the flow of grace, or mana, by constantly calling us from the present moment and pulling us into the past. The adult self must help the child self resolve these hurts and protect the child self from further harm and instruct and nurture the child self using the will. Forgiveness is key to repairing the past, and this is an everyday process. It's imperative because the child self communicates with the high self, and the high self can be requested and is requested by the adult self to assist the process and provide blessings and healings. So to aid in our awakening, we will perform a spiritual releasing ceremony today. And to start this ceremony, I'll chant a Hawaiian chant that's very important. It's very powerful. It calls in the new and releases the old negativity. It's important in the process called Ho'oponopono, which is to call together and become righteous. Pono, to become right with things. Ai e ola I mua, e ola I hope, e ola I waena, e ola loa. Ho'opuka I ka ola. He hemo I mua, he hemo I hope, he hemo I waena, he hemo loa. He hemo I ka au wai la. E ola I mua, e ola I hope, e ola I waena, e ola loa. Ho'opuka I ke ola. He hemo I mua, he hemo I hope, he hemo I waena, he hemo loa. He hemo I ka au wai la. E ola I mua, e ola I hope, e ola I waena, e ola loa. Ho'opuka I ke ola. He hemo I mua, he hemo I hope, he hemo I waena, he hemo loa. He hemo I ka au wai la. A mama ua noa I kanani, kai I kaika. I don't know if you felt it, but we called in a lot of energy here. Then the seer says, this is from the book I mentioned before, Audre, the Seed. So the seer says, know that you will not find heaven by roaming to far and exotic places on this earth. You need only the movement that has begun in your consciousness. Stretch into God by inward gazing. Work with your triune nature, and you will make your own heaven wherever you go. So again, why should we release? To move forward in life, to manifest desires, and to manifest from a point of attraction, not repulsion. We want to manifest what we want, not the past. That's gone. Okay, so we want to clear. It's very important to practice forgiveness in order to do this release.